So you've been doing some research about the upcoming US elections, Democrats versus Republicans. Who does Taiwan prefer?
So in 2020, there was a narrative that really sort of dominated the foreign policy world that came from this YouGov poll that was conducted that showed that Taiwan was one of the only places in the world that preferred Trump and a Republican administration to Biden and a Democratic administration. And so, 4 years later, we've had 4 years of Biden, of Democratic administrations, and we wanted to ask whether or not people in Taiwan still feel the same way. And what we found was really counterintuitive to what most narratives about Taiwan would say. Rather than seeing overt support for Trump and Republicans, we actually find more support for Biden and Democrats across all sorts of questions and categories.
And what are the factors at play here that make Taiwanese people feel differently towards different political parties, different political leaders?
I think there is often this perception, especially before the Biden administration, that Democrats are weak on Taiwan or that they don't care about Taiwan or that Republicans are overtly more supportive of Taiwan. Now, of course, if you look at American voting records, you see that to be empirically not true, that Democrats and Republicans vote unanimously across partisan lines in support of Taiwan. But ever since the Biden administration has come into office, I really think it's been a moment of learning for people in Taiwan to see that you can still have an incredibly solid US Taiwan relationship, regardless of who the president of the United States is. And whether it's been, say, Nancy Pelosi's visit to Taiwan or the sheer number of bills in support of Taiwan that have passed under the Biden administration, I think this combined with the increasing number of skepticism towards Trump, especially given his recent comments on how Taiwan ought to be paying the United States more for protection.
Can you tell us how attitudes in Taiwan are changing towards the US when it comes to trusting that the US has Taiwan's back?
Yeah, so this is a bit of an enigma for a lot of us who study Taiwanese public opinion. Is on one hand, we see more and more people in Taiwan confident that the United States would help support Taiwan in the event of a conflict with the PRC. At the same time, we see polling numbers that show across different polls that the United States is not seen as a trustworthy ally by people in Taiwan. It's something that my survey data has found, and it's something that other Taiwanese survey researchers have also found. So, what this tells us is that on one hand, people here are confident that the United States would help Taiwan in the event of a conflict, but that the United States itself may not necessarily be a trustworthy ally. Even though these two things may seem contradictory, I think given Taiwan's very contentious geopolitical position, I think this is really just Taiwanese respondents trying to rationalize and make sense of their position in the world and the complexities behind allying with the United States.